Welcome back. In this part, we will cover for loop. So let's create a file for loop.js. So to write for loop, we need the keyword for loop and then parentheses and then curly bracket. This is something you should remember. And inside the parentheses, we need initialization and the condition and increment or decrement. So let's change this to a code. The initialization, usually this is how we start. Let I, the I is not a reserved word, it could be any I or K or J, it doesn't matter, but it's common to use I is equal to 0. And then the condition, for instance, if I want to print from 0 to 10, I less than 11, and I plus plus means increasing by 1 each time. So now I am just removing the pseudocode and console.log I. This should give us from 0 to 10. Now I have to start my code. I'm not going to use the live server because if it continuously run, I may end up to infinite loop, so I don't like that to happen. So let me open it instead using by double clicking. So I just double click this and then Control Shift I to open the console. We don't need this. Then this is not yet connected, so let me connect this to script source dot for loop. Now I have to refresh this one. As you can see, I managed to print from 0 to 10. Yeah, that's great. Let's change this to 101. So this means printing from 0 to 101. Actually, it doesn't include because it's less than, so up to 100. As you can see, 100. How about if we want to only print even numbers? We can do something like this. I plus 2, that means 0 to 4. We are increasing by 2 each time. So now, as you can see, it is only even numbers. If we are interested only in odd numbers, actually we can put here 1, and then if we do this, now it's also, what is the result? As you can see, yeah, it's only odd if we start from 1. Yeah, we can print odd and even like this, just in a systematic way, or we can also use if condition. Let's see the article, what is included in the for loop. I think that's for. Maybe we can see just for. This is the syntax: initialization, condition, increment or decrement, and your code goes inside the code block. We call this code block. It's like a fence or a compound. So this is what we saw. And if we want to sum all the numbers inside here, for instance, let's say let sum is equal to 0, and actually sum is equal to sum plus I. We start from 0 and we are adding h every time. So let's see the result there. I think it's down. So, oh yeah, I didn't print out the result. So print console.log and then the sum. As you can see, the sum is actually 2,500 because now we are just printing only odd numbers. But let's just print everything from 0 to 100 by doing this. Yeah, 5050. Let's see also if we have others. For instance, if you are interested only in the even numbers, you can do this way. The even numbers, that means if I is divided by 2 is equal to 0, that means I think it's also safe to use 3 equal sign. So when we divide I by 2, if the result is 0, that means it's divisible. So we can put this here. And then now what we get is actually only the even numbers. So 2550. And if we just by negating this, something like this, by negating this, we are also getting the odd numbers. Yeah, this is 2500 is the odd numbers. So we can use different way to get the evens and the odds. One is by condition like this. The other is actually by just changing the starting. We start from 1, and if we do increment by 2, we do this. This is also actually odd numbers. And if we just start from 0 and if we increment by 2 every time, and now we are getting only even numbers, we can see the value. Just console.log I. Let's see the printout. As you can see, these are even numbers. And if you change this one to this 0 value to 1, and we will get odd numbers. As you can see, these are all odd numbers. Let's see more. Yeah, so as you can see, for instance, we have even numbers here, and then we can iterate also from from arrays. Const nums is equal to 1 2 3 4 5. 3 4 5. For let I is equal to 0 and I less than nums dot length and I plus plus. Then console.log nums, and we access them by their index, and then I. No, this one actually, if we do this, we will get 1 2 3 4 5. Actually, we can store them also in a different array. Const new array, and for instance, if we change to this to double every time, so new array dot push, and then we like to nums times by 2. Every time each value I'm multiplying by 2, and then the new array will be the double of each items. So let's see, console.log and new array. Yeah, oh, but everything is just 4. The reason why instead of writing I wrote 1, that is the reason why we got the same value. Now we got 2 4 6 8 10. I think this is what you need about for loop. Now let's see how to print, from 10 to 0 for let I is equal to 10, and then while I is greater than or equal to 0, I is minus minus, and then what you do, print, not print actually, console.log, and then I think this should print from 10 to 0. Yeah, as you can see, 10 to 0. Yes, great. I think this is enough for loop, and I hope this can help you to understand for loop. I will see you in the next video.